Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm the Children's Librarian at the Sheridan County Public Library System. And this is another edition of Bookmarks. And this is a great autobiography by Mike Massimino, who went to space. And it's called Spaceman, the true story of a young boy's journey to becoming an astronaut. Now the neat thing is that he wrote a book for grown-ups, which is great. Grown-ups like books too. But this is one he wrote for kids. And if you think going to space is, oh, I'm going to go to space and I'm very smart and all this stuff. He tried numerous times to go to space, to become an astronaut, ever since he was 7 years old and saw Apollo 11 land on the moon. He wanted to be an astronaut, but it wasn't very easy. And he starts out like this. Since the publication of Spaceman, an astronaut's unlikely journey to unlock the secrets of the universe, I have visited many schools, libraries, and bookstores. A question I often get from young people is, but what kept you going after NASA rejected you 3 times? I respond with a story from my days in graduate school at MIT. I was making dinner in my apartment before a night of studying. I had the television news on the background, and they were showing an interview with some astronauts. I took a break from cooking to watch. When I saw the astronauts floating in the space shuttle answering questions, I thought, that is exactly what I want to do. No question, I had clarity. Being an astronaut was a job for me. Almost immediately, another thought entered my mind. But you'll never get a chance to do that because becoming an astronaut is impossible. That is the way I felt about it a lot of the time. Then I pursuing something that could never happen. But that never was not true. It was not impossible. It just unlikely or really hard. I was to look at it mathematically. Chances of man becoming an astronaut were maybe 1 out of a million or 0.0000000 bunch of 01, which is a non-zero number and by definition possible. The only way one at the end of the string of zeros becomes a 0 and then by definition my chances of becoming an astronaut become 0 or impossible was if I gave up. Once you give up, you know the outcome. It won't happen. It's impossible. I encourage young people to think about that one at the end of the string of zeros and not give up on their dreams. I started thinking about rewriting Spaceman for young readers because I wanted to emphasize more of the formative experiences from my younger years that led me to the astronaut program. I've received many nice letters from readers. Here's a bit of one that stood out and touched me. Your book has inspired me to never give up on my dreams. I am about to move to another state and I am a little nervous, but your book taught me that sometimes things are scary, but if you try, you can get through it. I was 6 years old when I watched Neil Armstrong take his first steps on the moon in July of 1969. The exploits of Armstrong and his fellow astronauts totally captivated me. I wanted to grow up and become an astronaut, but I had no idea how that could happen, so my dream faded after about a year. As I grew up, however, my interest in math and science and space exploration persisted and blossomed, and eventually I earned an engineering degree in college. Pursuing my passions led me back to my 6-year-old dream of becoming an astronaut, and my studies put me in a position where becoming an astronaut was a possibility. I learned that education can be more possible that might first seem impossible. Is it possible for someone to fulfill a dream they have as a kid? Or to discover and pursue a dream career that never crossed their mind until they learned about it in later life? I now have a new dream. I hope that after reading this book, you will be inspired to never give up. If I can realize my little kid dream, you can realize yours too. And that's Spaceman by Mike Massimino. He also does some interviews, which you can, with grown-ups at help, you can probably go on YouTube and hear about. And I put my bookmark in there because it reminds me of where I left off in this book, because this is really, really a good book. And it also tells Mike, the character, that I'm going to be back, so he better not do anything until I get back to read this part of the book. And this is Spaceman by Mike Massimino. And I hope that if you have a dream, that you can do whatever you can to achieve it. And one of the best places to find out things is the public library, because I had always wanted to be a librarian. Well, I also wanted to be a ballerina, but I think the librarian part worked out too. And I'm so glad you joined me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.